Lithuania has lots of events and holidays that are worth knowing about before planning a visit, as they can definitely affect the trip. Sometimes it's also great to visit the country during these events. It can be interesting, fun, and it shows a lot about the culture. I'll mention some of the big feasts as well as some of more localized events taking place only in one city. One large holiday happens only once every few years, so keep watching to find out which one. Let's start off with January, which generally doesn't have plenty of events as it is a cold middle of the winter time, but the capital Vilnius has a reason to celebrate. Every year there is a light festival on Vilnius city's birthday, celebrated for a few days around the 25th of January, the day it was first mentioned in history in 1323. In the year 2023, the city celebrated its 700th birthday, but each year there are different light art installations in public spaces around the city center, which transform the dark and cold January in Vilnius into a network of futuristic lights and sounds, quite contrasting from the cozy Christmas lights from December. In February, while most people celebrate Valentine's Day, Lithuania looks forward to a different holiday as well, the Day of Restoration of the State of Lithuania, on the 16th of February. It is one of the two Independence Days the people of Lithuania celebrate. This one marks the day in 1918 when the Act of Independence of Lithuania was signed by the Council of Lithuania, announcing separation from the Russian Empire. On this day, each city in Lithuania has public celebrations, concerts, and sometimes free entrance to museums. In Vilnius, it is also marked by military and people's parade. Also, in the evening, traditional fires light up in the main street near the cathedral. Another holiday usually held in February is Užgavėnės. It is one of my favorite Lithuanian holidays too. Užgavėnės is celebrated 7 weeks before Easter, just like other Catholic carnival celebrations around this time of the year, such as Mardi Gras or Shrove Tuesday. But Užgavėnės is quite different, rooted a bit deeper in Lithuanian and Samogitian tradition. People dress up in homemade costumes, the uglier the better, in order to scare off the winter. The usual tropes are witches, devils, the Grim Reaper, various animals, scary doctors, and even brides and grooms of opposite genders. Everyone gathers for an outdoor party with traditional games, music, and dancing, eating lots of pancakes and in the end burning a straw effigy of winter called More. The largest party happens in Rumšiškės open-air museum near Kaunas, attracting thousands of visitors. But every city, town, village, and even schools celebrate Užgavėnės too. Because by the end of February, everyone definitely wants to scare the winter away. The next celebration is actually the largest crafts market in the country, Kaziuko Mugė, St. Casimir's Fair. It is traditionally held in the city's markets and streets on the weekend nearest to the 4th of March, on the day of St. Casimir, the patron of Lithuania. The fair is especially large in Vilnius and Kaunas, with thousands of stands selling various locally made items. You can find anything you might need in a household, from baskets and cutting boards to grandma's hand-knitted wool socks. Easter palms are also one of the fair's specialties, which are traditionally taken to church on Palm Sunday, 1 week before Easter. The food is also one of the main reasons to go to the fair. You can find lots of traditional foods such as traditional bread and baked sweets, smoked fish, cured hams, sausages, and so on. But the main edible attribute of the fair is riestainiai, or mostly called baronkos, the bagel-shaped sweet bread rolls. After this, soon comes another national holiday, the 11th of March, the Day of Restoration of the State of Lithuania, or the Second Independence Day. This marks the 11th of March in 1990, when the Act of Re-establishment of Independence was signed by the Supreme Council. This was the result of years of struggle for independence from the Soviet Union. This holiday also has similar celebrations to those on the 16th of February throughout the cities, including parades and concerts. In recent years, Vilnius Parade also involves an incredibly long flag of Lithuania, carried by people all through the main city street. After the 11th of March, soon comes the next holiday, Easter, one of the major holidays in the country. Of course, this is more of a family affair, so you won't see much activity in the streets, except for people going to the church. And it is one of the rare times in the country when most of the shops and restaurants will be closed. The other time is Christmas and New Year's. If you'll find yourself in a Lithuanian home on Easter, you'll find a variety of traditional meals on the table and, of course, the symbol of the feast, Easter eggs. There are also games with eggs, like breaking each other's egg, which kicks off the first meal of the day. Another popular activity among kids is rolling the eggs to hit and win other kids' eggs. Another holiday is not a very large one, but it is interesting nonetheless. The 1st of April is widely celebrated as April Fool's Day, and one group in Lithuania used it to its advantage. Užupis, the artists' neighborhood in Vilnius, celebrates its Independence Day on the 1st of April. Never heard of the Republic of Užupis? Well, that's because no country in the world has recognized this republic, but it has its own flag, president, and constitution. Everyone can easily find this constitution near the center of the neighborhood, translated into dozens of languages. It highlights such things as freedom of expression, the right to be happy, and more. Well, Užupis itself deserves a separate video to explain, but on the 1st of April, it becomes especially busy here. The bridge across the river becomes a border crossing outpost, where you can get your visa or stamp on the passport. There are various other events and concerts in the neighborhood as well. There is another festivity you will find in Vilnius in spring. It is Street Music Day, which usually happens on the 3rd weekend of May. Both professional and amateur musicians, singers, and whole bands play music in the streets, squares, or even public transport. This creates a fun and different environment from everyday life in the city. Since the first Street Music Day back in 2007, the celebration has become quite popular and has spread to other cities in Europe as well. Maybe there is one in your city too? For the next notable event, let's go to Kaunas. On the 20th of May, the city celebrates its birthday. In 2023, Kaunas became 615 years old. So on the next weekend after the 20th of May, the city celebrates with a festival called Kaunas Days. The old town gets really crowded because there are lots of events, craft fairs, and open-air music concerts featuring famous Lithuanian artists. And on top of that, every year there is also a traditional medieval fair with night tournaments. If you visit Kaunas these days, you will definitely see a lot of Lithuanian culture in one place. In June, there is one holiday that is widely celebrated around Lithuania and in other Nordic countries, Midsummer. I've already made a separate video especially for this holiday, so if you want to know more, I'll leave a link in the description below. The Midsummer festival in Lithuania is called Joninės or Rasos. It depends on who you ask. This beautiful and ritualistic holiday is celebrated on one of the shortest nights of the year. The celebration starts in the evening of the 23rd of June. There are gatherings all around the country, from traditional to modern parties, but it's essential to have a bonfire. One of the largest gatherings happens in Kernavė, not too far from Vilnius, with lots of traditional songs, dances, and rituals. But there are public celebrations everywhere. However, they are held more in natural areas and not in city centers, so do your research if you want to find one. One more holiday in June is quite special. It is held every few years, but it is highly anticipated. Dainų šventė, Song and Dance Festival. The festival is part of a UNESCO Cultural Heritage List, together with the ones in Latvia and Estonia. Lithuanian Song celebration will happen this year in 2024, from the 29th of June to 6th of July, and it will be huge. This celebration will mark the 100-year anniversary of the festival. Each time, the celebration brings together tens of thousands of choir singers and dancers from every corner of the country to create massive performances. The largest event, with 12,000 performers, will take place in Vilnius Vingis Park, but throughout the week there will be lots of smaller performances and other events throughout Vilnius. And one performance of 4,000 singers will take place in Kaunas too. The main performance of the Lithuanian Song Celebration will take place on the 6th of July, which is also a big national holiday in Lithuania. It is the Statehood Day, the coronation day of the only king Lithuania had, King Mindaugas, back in 1253. There are celebrations in every city and town across Lithuania, so if you are in the country on this day, you will definitely find a celebration somewhere. Last year, I was in the small city of Plungė on this day, which by the way has a beautiful manor house, the Samogitian Art Museum. Right next to it in the park, there was a fun local celebration with concerts and a crafts fair. There is one celebration in Lithuania that brings hundreds of thousands of Lithuanians to the seaside at the end of July every year. Of course, I'm talking about Klaipėda Sea Festival. It's a massive event, probably the largest in the country, which involves the whole of Klaipėda city. There is a big fair, musical parade, show of historical ships, big concerts with the most famous Lithuanian singers, and many other events. Usually held on the last weekend of July, the Sea Festival really transforms Klaipėda from being a cozy and relaxed seaside city to a bubbling culture pot. If this sounds like fun, definitely come and visit. It's awesome, but if you want a peaceful visit to Klaipėda, avoid the festival week. The capital Vilnius also has its own city celebration on the first week of September, as during the summer there usually aren't that many events there. By September, everyone comes back from the holidays. University students also return, so it's a perfect time for a celebration. Capital days also have crafts fairs, events and concerts in the streets, as well as various sports activities. Of course, there are major concerts at the Cathedral Square, but there are no fireworks. Instead, there is a laser show at night, which is a spectacular event, providing quite a different, even eerie experience. After this, soon comes the Autumn Equinox Day on the 21st of September, which is not so famously celebrated as many other events I've mentioned, but it can be interesting to see in the cities that do celebrate it. Local artists build symbolic straw sculptures which are burned in the evening during traditional music and singing performances. This tradition came from pre-Christian times when Lithuanians would give animal sacrifices to pagan gods in order to thank them for the harvest. These days we stick to straw sacrifices instead. As the days get darker again, another national event takes place on the 1st and 2nd of November, the All Saints and All Souls Days. This, of course, is widely celebrated across the world in various forms: Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, and more. In Lithuania, it is more of a quiet contemplation time than a big celebration. Everyone visits the cemeteries to light candles or even just to take a walk there and think about those who have passed. There is also a beautiful tradition in Kaunas on the 1st of November called the River of Souls, where people light candles in the main pedestrian street, creating a long and beautifully lighted alley. And the last but not least big holiday in Lithuania, of course, is Christmas and New Year's Eve. Starting from the first week of December, the cities in Lithuania start decorating their Christmas trees and streets. Visiting Lithuania in the darkest month of the year is compensated by the beautiful Christmas decorations everywhere. Vilnius and Kaunas also have small Christmas markets surrounding the main Christmas trees, creating that cozy Christmas atmosphere. Lithuanians start celebrating Christmas from Christmas Eve, which has its own special traditions and food that doesn't contain animal products, except fish. But Christmas Day is celebrated more or less similarly as in many other countries, but it is still a family affair. The New Year's Eve is more of a party time, which Lithuanians celebrate with friends or by traveling somewhere. One thing worth noting is that big firework events are no longer organized in the largest cities. They are replaced with laser and light shows at the main squares, but it is still allowed for people to light their own fireworks. So, these are some of the major holidays in Lithuania that could be interesting to see while visiting the country. Of course, this is not all the holidays and events. There are many more. If you think I missed any other important festivities, let us all know by writing them down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching!